So, what if I told you that most of your success doesn't depend on your talent, but on what you do in the first few minutes of your morning?
Okay, that already sounds like a big claim.
It's not a motivational quote, it's an uncomfortable reality that most people avoid facing.
Uncomfortable how?
For years, researchers and people who study high performers looked at business leaders and people who get extraordinary results, and they all agreed on something that looks simple, but really isn't.
Let me guess. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m.
Not quite. They don't start their day reacting. They start by taking control.
Taking control, not reacting. I like that distinction already.
The first minutes of the day aren't a small detail, Chris. They're the point where you decide whether you're going to direct your life or let the world direct it for you.
That's kind of intense for 8 in the morning.
Every morning, you face a quiet decision that shapes the rest of your hours. Either you take control of your mind from the start, or you lose it before you even get out of bed.
So the battle's already happening before your feet hit the floor.
Right in that moment, your mind is open, sensitive, ready to be guided, or ready to fall into chaos.
Guided or chaos. There's no in between there, huh?
If you choose with intention how to think, how to feel, and where you're headed, you walk into the day with clarity and direction.
But if you let automatic impulse take the wheel instead,
You drag confusion, stress, and reactions through the whole day without ever realizing where the problem actually started.
honestly, that's most mornings for a lot of people.
Most people start the day in the worst way possible. They hit snooze, grab the phone, and check messages, news, or problems that haven't even happened yet.
Guilty. I've definitely worried about an email that didn't even exist yet.
That one common habit disrupts your mental state, puts you on high alert, and pushes you into a defensive position right from the start.
And once you start that way, everything just feels heavier.
Deciding, concentrating, staying calm, connecting with other people, it all becomes harder.
And it's not that people can't handle it.
It's not a lack of ability, it's a lack of direction from the very first moment of the day.
Hey, before we go further, if this idea is already hitting home for you, hit that like button and subscribe to Daily English Listening Podcast. It genuinely helps us keep making episodes like this one.
Nicely placed, Chris.
I try.
So here's the thing. People who get different results do the complete opposite. They don't react, they design.
They design their morning like it's an actual project.
They understand that their inner state determines what happens on the outside, so they protect their morning like it's a valuable resource.
Protected. I love that word for it.
They take the time to organize their thoughts, adjust their energy, and focus on what really matters.
And that's not a one-time thing, right? It's a daily thing.
That discipline, repeated every single day, builds a strong mind, one that can stay steady even when things get complicated.
Here's the key thing to understand. Your first few minutes activate either your best version or your chaos.
Success doesn't show up by chance.
It's the result of habits you repeat until they become part of who you are, and your morning is the ground where it all begins.
That's where you build your focus, your energy, and your ability to move forward.
So you don't need to flip your whole life upside down.
You need to master the start of the day. That decision, small as it looks, has the power to change your whole direction.
All right, now here's an uncomfortable but necessary question for everyone listening. Do you control your attention or does your phone control it for you?
Because your attention is the most valuable thing you own. If you don't decide what to focus it on when the day starts, someone else will.
A notification, a message, a worry, one of them will grab that space instead.
And when you lose control of your attention, you also lose your energy, your peace of mind, and your ability to actually produce results.
That's the silent trap millions of people live in without even noticing.
Which brings us to something we'd genuinely love to hear from you about.
Yeah, think about your own mornings for a second. What's the very first thing that steals your control the moment you wake up?
It might be the phone. It might be your own thoughts. It might just be the habit of hitting snooze.
Whatever it is for you, drop it in the comments as your own little declaration of commitment.
You can literally write, "Today I take control of my mornings." Make it public. Make it real.
We'll be reading through those, by the way.
Today, most people wake up looking at a screen before they even see daylight.
That one small gesture sets off an immediate chain reaction in the mind.
Your body goes on alert, your mind speeds up, and you start the day reacting instead of leading.
And from there, everything just costs more. Organizing yourself, thinking clearly, making good decisions.
Every interruption steals a piece of your focus, and when that repeats every single day, you end up living tired, overwhelmed, and constantly putting out fires instead of building solutions.
I've actually seen this pattern over and over in people with real talent.
They don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they hand over their mental control right at the start of the day.
The ones who live reacting end up overwhelmed.
The ones who start with intention live directed.
The difference isn't in something complicated, it's simply in how you start your morning.
That very first moment decides whether you're going to lead your life or just survive the day.
Here's something interesting. Your mind never actually stops. It's always producing thoughts.
So if you don't decide what to put into it from the start, it'll fill itself with whatever it already knows: worry, fear, pressure.
It works like a garden, honestly.
If you don't plant what you want to grow, whatever you don't want will show up instead. Not because you're weak, just because anything left unattended gets messy.
The mind needs direction, it needs intention, it needs someone to take control, and that someone is you.
Good news though, you can change it.
Your mind can adapt, get stronger, and learn new ways of thinking if you train it consistently.
Every morning is a fresh shot at building new habits and leaving behind the patterns that hold you back.
This isn't about motivation, it's about repetition.
What you do every day ends up defining who you are and how far you get.
That's why you need a clear system, not scattered ideas, not aimless attempts. A system that lets you start the day in control.
Okay, so let's actually break that system down. Step 1. Wake up with intention. Before you get out of bed, decide how you want to feel, what's most important for you to accomplish, and what kind of person you're going to be today.
That simple practice changes the way you face everything that comes afterward.
When you have internal clarity, your actions stop being reactions.
Step 2 is one of my favorites. Train your mind in gratitude, not in a vague way, something concrete.
Thinking about specific things you value shifts your focus, pulls you out of the problem, and puts you into possibility.
When you train your mind to see what you do have, you start finding opportunities where you used to see only obstacles.
Your perception changes, and so do your results.
Step 3, visualize your day before you actually live it.
Imagine in detail how you act, how you decide, and how you respond to challenges. It's not fantasy, it's mental preparation. When your mind rehearses success, your behavior follows it. You reduce doubt, you build confidence, and you walk into situations with a clear advantage.
You've already been there in your mind.
Step 4. Move. Thinking isn't enough.
Define clear actions that actually move you towards what you want. Not urgent tasks, not distractions, but actions that build real progress.
When you start the day executing what matters, you change how you see yourself. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through.
And step 5, decide who you are.
Don't wait to feel ready. Don't depend on your circumstances. Choose clearly the attitude and character you're going to act with.
When you define your identity at the start of the day, your decisions start lining up with it.
You stop acting on impulse and start acting with consistency, and that consistency, repeated day after day, transforms your results.
Now, the most common excuse out there is, I don't have time.
But the truth is different. It's not a lack of time, it's a lack of priority.
Nobody just finds time lying around.
Time gets created when you decide to take full responsibility for your life. And that decision happens every morning, in silence, when no one's watching, but everything gets decided.
Extraordinary people don't wait for their schedule to magically clear up. They create the space for whatever actually helps them grow.
They understand that every minute they invest in their mind in the morning comes back multiplied in results, energy, and clarity.
But here's a truth a lot of people avoid.
Your mind is going to resist, not because you're weak, but because it's wired to keep you in what's familiar.
Every time you try to change, excuses show up dressed as logic.
And that's the very moment where it gets decided, whether you move forward or stay right where you are.
Progress doesn't happen where you're comfortable.
No important result is ever born in ease. Discomfort is the price of a stronger mind and a more focused life.
When you decide to get up earlier, think before you react, and choose your priorities before the world imposes its own on you.
You're training something most people never develop: real control over yourself.
That edge isn't visible at first, but over time, it becomes impossible to ignore.
Start small, but start for real. 10 minutes each morning, repeated for several days, might seem insignificant, but they're not.
What you do in that time doesn't just change your day, it changes the way you see yourself.
When you repeat this behavior, your mind starts adapting, building new ways of acting, cutting the noise and increasing clarity.
You stop reacting on impulse and you start making decisions with intention, and that difference changes everything.
Consistency is really the thing that separates people who move forward from people who just keep trying.
It's not about doing a lot, it's about doing it every single day.
Every repetition sends a clear message to your mind: I'm someone who follows through. And that message builds your discipline, your confidence, and your sense of control.
Every morning you choose to act instead of giving in to excuses, you get stronger.
And over time, that strength becomes your natural way of living.
Your environment plays a bigger role than most people realize, too.
Your mind absorbs everything around it. If you start the day surrounded by clutter, noise, or distractions, your thinking follows that same pattern.
That's precisely why people who get real results take care of their morning space with real precision.
It's not luck, it's strategy. Before they face the day, they prepare the place where their focus gets built.
A clean space, free of interruptions, built with clear intention, that's not a luxury.
It's a tool. Keeping your phone away protects your attention from being lost right at the start.
Having a notebook ready forces you to think clearly.
Creating a calm environment makes it easier for your mind to focus.
And when you set boundaries with the people around you, you're reinforcing something more important than comfort, your discipline.
Every detail sends a message, and that message shapes your behavior.
When your environment is in order, your mind responds the same way.
You think better, you decide faster, and you react with more calm.
But when everything's chaotic, your mind will be too.
Most people try to fix their life without realizing they start every day in an environment that's actually working against them, and sooner or later that catches up with you.
If you don't control what surrounds you ends up controlling you instead.
And here's where this gets even more important. The more disorder, pressure, or problems you're dealing with in life, the more you need internal structure.
When everything outside feels uncertain, the only thing that can hold you up is the order you build on the inside.
Mornings stop being just the start of the day. They become a point of stability, a space where you get your control back, even if everything else feels out of your hands.
In difficult moments, you don't need to do more.
You need to do the essentials with more intention.
A well-built ritual doesn't change your reality right away, but it changes how you face it.
It lets you think clearly, act calmly, and stay steady when other people are falling apart.
That's the real difference between reacting out of desperation and moving forward with direction.
Over time, this habit stops feeling like an obligation and becomes part of your identity.
You're not doing it because you have to anymore. You're doing it because it's who you are.
And when that happens, you start noticing real changes: sharper focus, more energy, clearer decisions, and a constant sense of control.
It's not magic. It's the direct result of repeating the right thing for long enough.
As your behavior changes, your environment starts responding too.
People notice how you carry yourself, your clarity, your discipline, not because you announce it, but because you show it every single day.
You become someone reliable, focused, and hard to knock off course.
And that kind of presence doesn't go unnoticed, personally or professionally.
Big transformations don't come from huge actions. They come from small decisions repeated with real commitment.
Every single morning you're building something. Realize that or not, it's happening.
Either you reinforce disorder and reaction, or you strengthen control and intention. There's no middle ground.
Everything adds or everything subtracts, and time just amplifies whichever one it is.
Your daily routine is more than a series of actions. It's a reflection of who you're choosing to be.
Every habit you repeat sends a quiet message, not just to your own mind, but to everyone around you.
It's not about what you say, it's about what you do when nobody's watching.
And when you choose well, even in the simplest moments, you start building a life that doesn't depend on luck, but on firm decisions made from the very start of each day.
So remember this, even if it's not what you want to hear.
The world doesn't need your tired, distracted, reactive version.
That version is already common. It's already everywhere.
What's actually missing is your focused, aware, in-control version, the one that makes decisions with clarity and acts with intention.
That version doesn't appear by chance. It gets built.
And if you don't build it, nobody else will build it for you.
There's a direct way to start creating it, and it's not comfortable, but it is powerful.
Write a letter from your future self.
From that version of you who already lives with discipline, purpose, and real results.
Describe how that person thinks, how they act, what decisions they make, and what they refuse to tolerate.
This isn't some empty emotional exercise. It's a way of forcing your mind to see clearly who you actually need to become.
When you write it down, you stop imagining and start defining.
That letter becomes a reference point. Your mind needs direction. It needs a clear image of where to move toward.
And once you have that vision written down, you're no longer guided by whatever impulse hits you in the moment. You're guided by a higher standard.
Every word you put in there raises your internal standard and reminds you that you're not here to react. You're here to lead your own life.
Read it every morning before the world starts demanding your attention.
Do it while your mind is still calm, before the distractions roll in.
That moment matters because it's when what you think actually has the most impact.
By repeating that vision every day, you keep reminding your mind who you are, what you're building, and what you're no longer willing to accept in your life. There will be days when you just don't feel like it, days when you're tired or unmotivated.
And that's the exact point where this tool proves its value, because it doesn't depend on how you feel, it depends on what you decided.
That letter becomes your reminder when you lose clarity, your guide when doubts show up, and your anchor when everything around you feels unstable.
It's not motivation, it's direction.
Over time, something starts changing without you even noticing.
Your decisions get firmer, your boundaries get clearer, and the way you act gets more consistent.
You stop reacting the same way, you stop hesitating as much, and you stop settling for what's easy.
Because when you write from your future and act in the present based on that, you shorten the distance between who you are and who you know you can be.
Now let me tell you something direct.
Most people want to change, but almost nobody's willing to actually sustain the process.
They want fast results, but they don't want constant discipline, and that's the real reason they stay stuck in the same place.
If you genuinely want out of that cycle, you need to do something different.
You need to commit, not out of emotion, but out of decision.
Commit to this ritual for 30 days.
Do it even when you don't feel like it. Do it even when you're tired. Do it even when it feels like it's not working, because those are the very moments where you're actually building character.
The people who get results aren't the most motivated ones.
They're the ones who act even when they don't want to, and that difference changes everything.
Every day you follow through, you send your mind a clear message. I'm someone who does what they say.
And that repeated message transforms your identity.
You start thinking differently, acting differently, and responding differently to life.
Your focus improves, your emotions stabilize, and your energy stops getting wasted on things that don't matter.
When you start the day in control, the rest of it stops dragging you along.
You go from reacting to leading, from feeling lost to having clarity, and as the days go by, you notice something important.
You're not just changing your mornings, you're changing the way you live.
You're building a version of yourself that no longer depends on circumstances.
And speaking of that, if you haven't dropped your comment yet, this is your moment. Tell us what steals your control in the morning, and write, "Today I take control of my mornings," underneath it.
We really do read every one.
If this episode made you think differently, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who needs to take control of their own life.
Because sometimes one single decision made with real commitment can change everything.
Start tomorrow, but actually mean it.
Because when you decide to master your mind from the very start of the day, you stop being just another person, and you start becoming someone who builds their own destiny.